motorsport stripped to the core. Competition down to earth or flying high. It is rally, and this is the East Coast Bullbars Australian Rally Championship. After a break of 4 years, the ACT hosts the opening round of the championship, the Natioanl Capital Rally in Canberra. Today we'll bring you the action from the classics, the very cars that made rallying a household name. We'll showcase the side-by-sides and Can-Am's newest weapon in its war with Polaris. And we'll bring you the highlights of the National Four-Wheel Drive Series, being run in conjunction with the Outright Championship. Plus, the newest addition to Rally, the Pedders Power Stage. So popular after trials last year in South Australia, it's back at every round. Car on car, driver on driver. The top 5 will shoot out for 5 bonus championship points before the Natioanl Capital Rally officially even begins. But first, 15 cars lined up for the first round of the ARC Classic Series. Local Claude Murray claimed first points through SS1 after Neil Bates was held up with a puncture. Bates was on the case and was challenging for the lead when the gearbox let go in SS2. Jeff David was his usual fast, consistent self. Although slower than Murray, the 911 presented for every stage, finishing the first heat in second. It was a big hello again from Barry Lowe in the repowered Commodore. The NASCAR-inspired engine providing plenty of poke, but he rolled off the road in SS4 and was out of contention early. Keith Callanan's immaculate Ford Escort was consistently top 4 all heat, but he and wife Marianne were unable to haul in a hard-charging Hayden Taylor, who was eyeing off third. Taylor, with Lee Tierney alongside, brought the Nissan Bluebird home to a safe podium at the end of the first day. Finishing his first day in any rally was Danny Williamson. The DW Racing 370Zs should be ready for round 2 in WA, so this was his chance to get a handle on rallying without the pressures of performing. Murray's Datsun and David's Porsche fought for the spoils in the 3 morning stages in Heat 2 and looked certain to play second fiddle to Bates coming into the lunch service before broken wheel studs sidelined the Celica. Kim Beaglehole stopped mid-stage SS8 for instructions. But went on to claim 4th for the weekend. Claude Murray won the opening classic round from a determined Jeff David with Taylor Harvey in third. The Classic Spirit Award went to Clay Badenoch in the Corolla, a spirited drive for the crowd and the cameras, thanks to Trenching Systems Australia. Up next, Can-Am shows off their new weapon of choice in the fight for supremacy in the Australian Side-by-Side Challenge. The Side-by-Side Challenge created a huge stir in the ARC last year, attracting eyes from all quarters. With Can-Am boasting a new purpose-built competition machine this year, our own Ross Duncan and Dean Herridge set off to see what all the fuss was about.
Michael, brand new car, more horsepower, lighter weight.
Look, it's been a long time coming, Ross. This is the new Maverick from BOP, the new Can-Am Maverick, and it's a full sports machine. The machine we had last year was more of a farming machine, and we managed to build that up to something we could rally, but this is designed for sports, designed for racing. So yeah, lighter, more power, class leading power. I think it's got 101 horsepower out of the box, and so far it feels like it's got the goods.
Cody, you had a great run last year, but this year is going to change.
Yeah, certainly. I guess he's got his new machine. He's quite proud of it. And we've got last year's machine, the same sort of thing anyway. And we're trying to do, as Guesty's doing sort of developments as we go. So we're trying to tweak little things here and there. But we figured we're on a good thing, we'll stick to it. So it's certainly a good machine from last year going into this year.
The brainchild of the ARC's CEO, Scott Pedder now finds himself back in the driver's seat with time to reflect on a decision to bring side-by-sides into the national competition.
Scott behind the wheel of a rally car this year, but last year you were instrumental in getting the side-by-sides into the Australian Rally Championship.
Yeah, mate, they've been a fantastic addition to the series last year, and great to see Polaris and Can-Am come on board in such a big way. And from what Cody and Michael say, they are fantastic cars to drive, so I'm looking forward to having them steer.
Well, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Do you want the new model or the old, true and proven one?
Mate, age before beauty. I'll let you decide.
I'll go with the Crocker's car.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I've been smiling the whole time, so that's a good thing. Come on! How about that? You literally went through there to try and get me wet, didn't you? Good stuff.
Roscoe, before you even get the helmet off, mate, how was that?
Fantastic.
Really?
Let's go again.
Oh, he's going for another lap. This is you.
That's a bit... I need a fix. Hey, it's fantastic.
Scotty Pedder jumped in the Can-Am for the first time. A little bit muddy, how was it?
Oh, I did get a bit wet, so thank God I've got 2 driving suits for tonight. No, really impressive, obviously it soaks the bumps up, which I knew that was going to do, but the way the car steers from the rear, and it's, I don't want to get out. Fair dick, and this is fantastic.
So Cody and Michael, what a fantastic first year it was for the side-by-sides, and you guys haven't stopped grinning since.
No, absolutely. We started off at Rally Calder, which was pretty cold, I got to say. It was pretty wet as well, so it was a bit of an introduction for everyone into the wet racing that we had.
Spectacular vision coming out of Calder, wasn't there, Michael? With the conditions were atrocious, and here you guys are on the side-by-sides.
Yeah, I must say I doubted my commitment a little bit after that one. Someone said before about the water coming through the screen, and mate, there wasn't a lot of water mix. It's more like wheat mix. Water. But look, it was sensational. It was a great introduction into what was a great championship.
And of course you moved from Calder there, which was sort of the Motorplex type event, to a traditional rally over in WA, the dust and traditional rally stage, and these things cope with it really, really well.
Some people cope better over there than others. I tried to take a jump on. I thought it was Travis Pastrana actually there at one point, and ended up upside down. We could have really kept going on that first day after that roll. It just shows how tough those little cars are, and it's just that we broke a hub, got involved the next day, and finished third or something or other the next day. So yeah.
And that was a great event because it was we were part of the moto section, so we used half the rally roads and half off-road roads, so fire trails, you name it, and it was just fantastic fun.
Again, if you could ask for perfect rally conditions, we really had that in Queensland last year. We had the bit of rain before, they were swept roads, they were beautiful, they were technical, lots of tightening corners over crests, and I guess that's where pace noting ability comes into it, and we've got so much experience between us with pace notes, so that certainly made a difference to me because we had so much stiff competition from Polaris, and it was great to get a win for Can-Am, really in the machine when we didn't expect to for that year, so that was really the highlight of our year, I think, was Queensland.
You've got to thank the guy who put the studs out on the road, and I've got to pay a visit to the guy who put the studs out on the road and gave us a couple of flat tyres.
You went off. I heard you went off, hit one bank. And
no, you hear these stories, but none of them are true.
Yeah.
Things did improve for you though, Cody, because the final round in Coffs Harbour, you did claim the title, and you guys, of course, running on some of the WRC roads.
Yeah, absolutely, and what a fantastic event that was. Really fast roads, but at the same time, just twisty enough to be a challenge as well. You're not just driving flat out down a straight bit of road, so good fast stuff.
And the fact that you guys are here back for another year just shows, like I said, how stiff the competition is, how good it is, and how much fun it is at the end of the day.
Oh, look, 100%, Dean, and I know we spoke, I think in Perth at one point, you were watching on the sideline and you said, I might get involved in this, and you're a bit scared about the commitment level, champion. I think you need a teaspoon of cement for you need to harden up a little bit. But the big thing that I saw out of it was these guys who haven't been in rallying before, how fast they were. That was what really amazed us, how quickly they picked up the pace noting skills and how competitive they were, and that's just a sensational thing. That's what the class is about, so if you're out there and you're keen, get involved, come and join the two of us, and it's time to go racing.
We'll have an absolute ball.
I'm going to stick behind the mic and watch you guys with great interest. See you guys.
Thanks, Dino.
Get in there.
Stick around, we've got all the four-wheel drive action from the National Capital Rally coming up in just a few moments. change of pace for the four-wheel drive competition in 2013 sees a national series where the best 3 results from the first 4 events entered will bring a winner. 14 Mitsubishis, Subarus, and a Mazda representing the golden age of four-wheel drive rallying fought out the weekend competition. Leading the charge was John Mitchell, back after his crash in the final round last year.
Yeah, it had nearly every panel, like blue gum, smash repairs, good mate of mine, both rear quarters, boot, bumpers, guards, bonnet, door, roof fixed, like nearly everything. So the amount of help I got to get here is just unbelievable.
Mitchell and partner Joe Cadman dominated the first heat, winning all but the final stage of the day when the turbo came loose and melted wiring under the bonnet. Second quickest through SS1 was Lee Gotch. He and John McCarthy flying through SS2 quite literally and joining the annals of mineshaft tales for years to come. Gotch and McCarthy walk away from the 7G impact, testimony to the stringent regulations on safety protection inside rally cars. Dunko was on the spot to chat with the driver.
I can remember, spectating here as a kid and watching you and Greg Carr come over in the Lancer and that, and I just feel very disappointed. I just didn't do it to be a hero, and I just thought I was going bloody at a safe speed, but obviously not enough. But me and Johnny are okay, so that's the main thing.
But for one small specific mechanical part, the Subaru would have started Heat 2. No antics for Michael Harding, local knowledge guiding the Impreza driver to a podium finish in Heat 1. Rookie Richie Dalton found himself in second by the first service at lunch.
It's my first ever event with this car. It's only my second ever rally. I did Coffs last year. So yeah, steep learning curve, but just keeping middle of the road and nice and clean and tidy.
The Irishman, with Kirralie Gentleman pointing the way, went on to win Heat 1. Michael Bailey's BP Ultimate Evo 6 grabbed the final podium for the day, with Gerald Schofield fourth in Heat, his best for the weekend. Brett Middleton turned up the heat in the Kumo-backed SUV Forester, mixing it with the high-horsepower petrol cars.
Mainly, we're generating a lot more grunt now, so we've found that the factory radiator's just not up to scratch. So we fixed that overnight, removed the oil cooler, and today I'm now having to back off after 5Ks in, and we're running the car with the heater on. So it's cold out here, but it's smoking hot inside the cabin.
Mitchell and Cadman came back on full boost in Heat 2, dominating from start to finish, 2.5 minutes clear of their nearest competition. Derek Reynolds had a better day after a broken gearbox in one. The Newman's Petroleum Evo was second fastest across all but one stage of the day. The lone Mazda of Steve and me kept tabs on the bottom of the leaderboard in amongst some superior horsepower. That didn't always pan out. Brett Middleton's performance in the MRT SUV has been noticed throughout the rally ranks, and SS10 was a blinder, second quickest of all the four-wheel drives in a display of total commitment.
Turn right 2, can cut, immediate left 4. Into a turn left 4.
In SS11, Reynolds was only one of 2 drivers to go sub 10 minutes across the 16K Wombian stage. A loss of brakes through the final stage bumped him to 5th.
Over double brow and 4 right, say left, 4 right.
Across River Road, Richie Dalton was back in second place. Mitchell was not to be caught, but the Irishman was on a charge.
Chuck it in, mate. Whoa. 56 left, flat brow and flat right. Sorry, I'll stop laughing. 150 through dip. 6 right over crest and 5 left. That's your 5. 100 with
Only a disputed penalty time stopped his march all the way to a weekend win, but a second for his trouble was better than most. Despite a decisive heat victory, John Mitchell couldn't make the weekend podium. The win to Michael Harding for a consistent second place in stage all weekend. Michael Bailey claimed the final podium spot in the BP Ultimate Evo 6. Coming up next, all the action from the inaugural Pedders Power Stage, showcasing the new two-wheel drive East Coast Bullbars Australian Rally Championship. Welcome back to the newest take on rallying, the Pedders Power Stage, where bonus championship points are on offer for the fastest driver around this 3.3 kilometre track at Blewett's on the outskirts of Canberra. A sighting lap and 2 qualifying laps means drivers are as familiar as they can be, but rain here in the last 36 hours has provided plenty of mud and the track is cut up. The stage is divided into 3 sectors, so we'll get a good indication of just where each team is during their run. The first split, as you'll see here at Kumo Corner, is approximately 1 kilometre in. The Coates Hire Sweeper marks the second split, another K down the road, before the teams traverse the hilly open country back to the finish. Ross Duncan's just completed a lap, and he's with Dean Herridge at the start.
Ross has just been out there in the Pedders four-wheel drive on the Pedders Power Stage. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was good, but there's a couple of little tricky bits. There's a couple of mud holes and a couple of corners you come around that are blind and boggy and slippery. Oh, I tell you what, I had a couple of moments.
Now, it is specially designed, just over 3 kilometre course, and it's into 3 sectors. Which one do you think is going to be the crucial one to try and get this time?
I think Sector 2, because they dive off, they do a left-hander into the pine trees, and it's very tight and twisty. But towards the end of Sector 2, there are a couple of blind crests. As they come over, it's off camber. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a huge moment there for a couple of drivers.
And of course, this year all two-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive for you on this particular stage in these conditions?
I think front-wheel drive might be the go, although there's a couple of uphill climbs towards the end in Sector 3 where cars with plenty of torque will have the advantage.
Now, with the weather we've had, it's been pouring down with rain. It's dried out in some sections. They're going to be on their game to pick the right bits to push and when to be conservative.
Well, once they get into the rally, of course, that's going to be the major thing, and how much is it dried out? Once you get in those pine trees and those forests, you come round a corner and it's nice and dry, and all of a sudden you come round a corner and it's muddy. I'll tell you what.
That's what we're sending you up to the commentary box, mate, with Rusty. You can head up there now, and we're going to recap some of the qualifying runs for some of the teams.
Thanks, Dino. It was Eli Evans' Honda that was quickest out of the box in both qualifying runs for the Pedders Power Stage. The best that his stablemate Mark Pedder could do in the sister Jazz G2 was 6th fastest. Life wasn't so good for last year's four-wheel drive champ Michael Bowden. The LG VW Polo, one of the first to suffer from the rigours of the Blewett terrain. And he was soon joined by Steve McKenzie in the Fiesta. Will Orders here unloaded his sump guard in the water jumps en route to Kumo Corner, sidelining the Hillary's Hotel Nissan, while Tom Wilde lucky to escape damage after collecting the Rogue sump guard on his way to 3rd. Brendan Reeves, a cracking pace in the Rally School Mazda 2, booking himself a berth in the Pedders Power Stage, while Mick Patton joined Will Orders to watch the competition after he too landed heavily on the jumps. Scott Pedder was second fastest in Qual 1 but was forced out with water in the electronics, allowing brother Mark to take 5th spot in the final. Despite this spin, Jack Monkhouse was fast enough first time around to make the cut. But Brad Sanders was down and out after breaking the suspension in his R3 Super 1600 Fiesta. The forward-backed entry of Adrian Coffin wasn't quick enough for the cut, but the sister car in the hands of import Elfin Evans was well up to the task. The Welshman bringing the lesser-powered R2 spec Ford Fiesta home second fastest behind the G2 Honda Jazz. As the wildcard entry in the power stage, Evans was first into the Pedders winner's circle, setting the pace for the final 5. So the stage is set. Mark Pedder, Jack Monkhouse, Tom Wilde, Brendan Reeves and Eli Evans all have a chance to bag vital championship points on offer before the season has officially kicked off. Dean Herridge is standing by with Mark Pedder on the start line, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. First power stage of the year. Very excited. Let's get to Dean on the start line.
Mark Petty, be happy to get in here. I saw you at the end of qualifying too. You weren't happy, so you must be very pleased to be here.
Yeah, look, I am, Dino. Really pleased to be here. But yeah, no, we thought it was going to be a lot wetter, so I've gone with a super soft setup in the front, which is just not working, seeing it's a bit drier. So really struggling for traction up some hills. But we've done a couple of little suspension adjustments before this one, so we'll see what happens.
Go for it, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
He's smiling now, but the eyes are on the race face, joined by Claire Ryan, beside him as co-driver Ross Duncan, and not a bad start from these guys.
Good, Rusty, and this part of the course is very fast. As you can see, 150, 160 kilometres an hour, but there's a couple of tricky left-handers with trees on the outside.
Mark Petter gritting the teeth in the Honda Jazz. Sounds magic, running high in the rev range here. What about driving technique? I mean, we know that Mark's had some experience in this front-wheel drive car now, Ross, but very different to the four-wheel drives he's run in recent years.
Certainly, and this is the technical part we're coming up to now, because there are a couple of deep water crossings. Check this out, because the water has actually dissipated a bit, but he's got to keep it straight. He's come through nicely. He's coming up to a very rough part of the section here. Now he's got to make sure that he keeps the boot into it to keep those shocks on full trap. Oh, he's got a bit sideways there. And now he's coming up into the rough course, rough road here. You can see the car buck around up to the first timing point.
Very difficult from a setup point of view for these guys, given the conditions they've been confronted with for this power stage. Some fast open sections where the surface appears drier, but rain in the lead up to this event, as you can see, has made it damp and muddy in other places.
There is muddy through there. Of course, this is the first timing point was Kermode Corner, and he's coming around now through the log section and coming down to over the crest off Canberra Corner. Through the logs here, he's coming up to that corner now as he dives down, then does a hard right-hander, then comes up to the next bad corner. Nicely through there.
A couple of resets along the way, though. I don't think in that left-hander before that he was quite happy with the apex necessarily, but he's powering on here. Watch the time at the bottom of your screen, the benchmark, and he's well shy of Evans' mark at the moment, isn't he?
He certainly is. And now, of course, they climb up a hill to run along the ridge line. Nice sweeping open corners through this part of the course.
Jump 50, 3 left on crump.
Super calm, as you can hear Claire Ryan there with the calls.
Mid 4 right. 8 left on crest, 20, turn 2.
What's coming up now is a hard left-hander up a very steep hill. As he sets the car up, he'll be coming down through it now. Here he goes. He'll touch the handbrake. He's got it. Around he comes nicely. Up the hill.
Up through the sequential gearbox.
5 right on brow.
Fighting for traction. You can hear that front-wheel drive. The key, of course, to try and keep momentum, to try and keep speed in these front drive cars as much as possible.
Turn 2 left slippy. 100.
Swings the car around nicely through that corner.
Care 7 right slippy into 5 right on crest and slippy. Repeating care 7 right slippy.
Mark willing the car on. Probably knows that he hasn't been able to extract the right amount of time in some places from the car, so he probably even feels as though he's down based on that number there for Elfyn Evans.
There's the timing marker, through with his time. He's off the
10
pace.
seconds. He'll be gutted with that.
Mark, how was it in there?
Yeah, not too bad. Like, we've had a little bit of setup trouble all day, hence the slower times, but we're getting closer. I know what we need to do, so we can get it back now and fix it for the event.
Remember, it's not just the power stage they've got to think of, but the entire event. It's very important, this. What about the next of our contestants? Here's Dean Herridge.
So Jack at 3:14.64 for Mark Petter. A little bit slow on the qualifying run. Are you planning to push?
Not really, Dean. Like we're here to put on the show and get some points, but at the end of the day, getting to the rally tomorrow is the bigger picture, and we've got a lot of Ks to do tomorrow. The course out there's quite rough. The dips are very severe and are breaking cars already, so we need to get through that and get the car sorted and be there tomorrow.
Okay, have a clean run. There you go, guys. A conservative Jack Monkhouse. Who would have thought?
Yeah, pretty rare to hear him talking like that. Underline the word show, though, because that's what Monkhouse does so well. In this car, rear-wheel drive will be very entertaining around this course, joined by, of course, John Allen in the co-driver's seat, the Queenslander with a huge amount of experience, Ross.
I've known Jack for many years. I've never seen him yet go slow on any stage, so that might be a little bit of a fib because he's up there honking along at the moment, and this is the left-hander, a little bit further up to a right-hander, and the next corner is the one that's got a tree and muddy corner there, see, and that's a tree. Got to be careful through there.
We spent some time with him at his South Australian workshop last year, but like so many drivers, very hands-on with the build and maintenance on this car, and they've been continuing to try and find ways to extract more from it, both time and power, haven't they?
Certainly have, and nice run through there. Let's see how he goes through the dips, and he'll set the car up nicely, and Jack comes around, grabs the handbrake and gives it the number back into that tricky part of the stage. He's just gone past the Kermo timing point, of course.
Exit 30. Then caution, 8 left, tighten 6 on crest 30.
Looks like a good run at the moment from Jack Monkhouse, but the time, so nicely lined up through this section here.
9 right, 50.
He is the man. Look how tight he goes into those corners, hanging the front wheel right on the inside curb. Now, the interesting thing will be now this off-cambered corner we're talking about. Let's see what he does as he comes round. Oh, I tell you what, he's hanging it out. This part here, let's see just how far he gets out sideways through here, because the front-wheel drive cars will be right in. He's doing a good job. Hey, look at that. Clipping the inside of the corner. Fantastic drive there from Jack Monkhouse.
This is flowing beautifully for the South Australian, just pointing the car, placing it perfectly, but it's not necessarily reflected in a quick time relative to what we've seen from Evans. Nonetheless, a spectacular run. And he's very much in the groove, Jack Monkhouse. Great way to start this event. Terrific stuff.
7 right, 30. Crest and 8 left is 50. Turn 1 left.
This is where this car will have the edge on the front-wheel drive cars. It's got plenty of torque, and away we go up the hill.
20. Good job, mate. Crest and 6 right, 150.
Good job with the words from John Allen. Some reassurance there for his driver, and that's so important, that sort of, mind management for the driver. We're looking to see how he ends up relative to Mark Petter. It should be quicker than Petter. It does seem as though that's the case.
9 right, slippy.
He's looking good now. There's a tricky corner just here. It's quite muddy as they come up over this crest. You'll see how muddy it is.
100.
He's through nicely.
Straight crest, 100.
There is very little that will be able to pick apart on the run for Jack Monkhouse. Gets to the finish, 3:06, only just shy of Evans' time, but well beats Mark Petter. Nice work.
Wow, that was good fun. Yeah. That was just, have to go slow in the rough stuff, which is very frustrating, but just slide the car around. Lots of tight corners, very narrow road. So not much room when you've got 2 turns of opposite lock on board, but geez, it was great fun.
Power stage really offering a good mixture of everything. Back to the start line, Dean.
Tom Wild in the Renault. We've just had a couple of cars come through. Elfyn Evans quickest so far with a 3:04.1, but Jack Monkhouse 3:06.6. That's what you'll be looking at in regards to points.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I reckon there's a bit more grip on the road now, so I reckon we can get it under that.
You're the sole remaining Renault out there, flying the flag for the team in this Petter's Power Stage, mate.
Yeah, hopefully we can impress them and show them what these things are made of.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And long right 2, tighten 10, and left 3.
He's like the smiling assassin, Tom Wild, isn't he? You never see him without that bright grin on his face, but when he gets into it, he's an up-and-coming youngster. Huge amount of talent, and part of this crack Renault squad, the Clios, beautifully built, Ross, aren't they?
They certainly are. They've done a fantastic job, and of course this is the first time we've seen them in Australia, and they're certainly showing the pace.
50, wipers on, left 2, hug, braking 20, right.
Now what he's got to do is come through here reasonably straight, because the exit of course is a little bit slippery now. They've been pulling the water up onto that track. Now up to the really hard one. This is quite a deep one there, as you can see, going through, and then into the bumpy area. Make sure he keeps the boot into it, and he's doing that, of course. Doing it nicely up to Kumo corner.
Into right 4. And left 3.
Dropped a bit of time off there.
70. Left 5 long. Don't cut. Slippy exit maybe. Opens to short left 4.
Wild's been running in four-wheel drives, of course, in recent years, so this is a big opportunity for him. So far, the wild card from the UK, Elfyn Evans, a 3-minute 4.13 seconds is the time to beat. We'll keep an eye on Wild's effort here relative to Jack Monkhouse. Monkhouse got down to a 3-minute and 6 seconds, only 2 seconds off Evans' best.
Well, the man calling the corner, of course, is Bill Hayes, a very, very experienced co-driver, co-driving for Alistair McRae in the Asian Pacific Championship. So he's a very experienced man, sitting alongside Tom.
So there we go, the splits.
Straight 50, right tightens to 6. And Brow left 1.
Nicely through there as he tucks it in, because he knew he had to have a slingshot performance out of that downhill and then try and get enough speed to get them up the hill, and he certainly did that.
Small Brow, right 5, opens to long 4.
Concentration there.
And left 3 on Brow, braking 30, turn hairpin left, up. Pick up. Turn hairpin left, up.
Second split seems to have flowed better for him, or carried more speed as he comes to grips with this front-wheel drive.
Left entry crest and right 4.
He's looking good. Up over the top here. Kink slightly to the right.
Long flat Brow, 100.
And they have to keep in mind that the rest of the event, the rest of the weekend still to come. So yes, they're playing for points. Yes, they're putting on a show. But you can't afford to do big damage on the Petters Power stage. The run to the finish here.
Tell you what, he was out wide there, and of course, he's got the wipers still going. He's full concentration, just making sure that it doesn't obstruct the windscreen at all through those muddy sections. Into this last left-hander and up over the hill to the timing marker. He's doing a good job here, young Tom Wild from Western Australia.
Ends up with a 3-minute and 8-second run. Monkhouse was fractionally faster, but Evans still the man to beat.
Yeah, good run. It was quite neat, just a couple of messy bits, but yeah, I was just happy to get this far up it, to be honest.
Brendan Reeves is next. That's right after the break. Nice to have you with us for the Petters Power Stage as the National Capital Rally in Canberra continues. Brendan Reeves waiting in the starters' hands. Can Elfyn Evans here and Daniel Barrett hang on to their early lead?
No, probably not to win the whole thing, no. But you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We drove a good stage, didn't really make any mistakes. So.
Brendan Reeves is on the line, and Brendan, so far it's been Elfyn Evans, the wild card, who's got the quickest time. Actually matched your qualifying time. What's the plan?
Yeah, I raced him all last year. He's back again. Just go flat out, Dino. It's 5 championship points, so got to have a crack. The stage is drying out all the time, so it's looking great.
And your first event in the Mazda, how's it feeling?
Yeah, Mazda 2's been superb. I've only done about 80 k's testing, but fits like a glove.
There you go, guys. He's got the eyes on. Can't wait to see this run.
And as you know, Dean brings a huge amount of recent international experience to competition back home. Great to have this combination, Brendan and Rhiannon Smythe rallying at home once again. We know from Simon Evans last year how good Ross Duncan and this car is.
Left and 10 left on crest. Right's 40. Cut care 8 left, slippy 30. Care 7 right, don't. Rough, middle, slippy 40. Caution, brake, brow, slippy 6 left. 20. 7 left in. Switch. 7 minus right through big water splash.
Tell you what, he's into it. He is on the money here at the moment. He's having a big try, setting the car up. Oh, I tell you what,
lovely line.
Very nice. Let's see how he goes through the rough part here. No back off at all.
Time to beat is a 3-minute 4.13. We check the first split. Kumo corner. Up. He's ahead by 1 second.
Whoa, he's done it.
30. Brake early 5 left wide entry.
Down through this fairly tight section.
5 left in over crest opens. 30. 4 right medium.
Oh, I tell you what, he got a little bit wide there. He sort of had a bit nervous.
30. 6 left short. into 7 right fast, bumpy, 36 right.
Tell you what, that engine is screaming as he comes down through the log section.
This looks fast, Ross. You can tell just the way he's attacking the corners and carrying that speed. Oh, a little wide on the exit there, but throwing the car into the right-hander. Sounds magnificent.
He is having a charge. He's coming up to the coach sweep at the second timing point. Here he comes through, a nice line through there.
Look at the split. Look at the improvement. It was fractionally up on Evans and Barrett before. Now he's got nearly 3 seconds advantage. This is terrific stuff from Brendan Reeves.
He is on fire at the moment. And can he pull more time back towards the end of the stage? Doing it nicely up the top through this corner, blind corner. Have a look at that. How'd you like to be sitting in that car at this rate? It's fantastic.
Great commitment. Let's listen here.
Tidy break early, 40 turn, 3 left up fast. 3 left up. 50 straight brow.
Losing a bit of time there. As you can see, the wheels spin. You can hear that car just trying to get the traction as he pulls up this long climb. Very experienced driver here, of course. A youngster, but heaps of experience and a very talented crew.
The car was a great addition to the championship in 2012, but the competition has stepped up for 2013, and Reeves, back in the series, is rising to the occasion. This is terrific stuff. Look at him. Look at the commitment.
Up he comes. There's the timing marker.
And smashes it. Smashes the time of Evans. We're down into the sub 3 minutes. Well done, Brendan Reeves.
Happy with that time? Yeah, by our time 2:59, so it's good so far. Tried to drive tidy, but a little bit messy in some spots. A lot of the water's gone, so tried to be flat out, but car feels really good.
You had a little bit up your sleeve then from qualifying, or did you just make some adjustments?
Qualifying was a little bit slippery, and we bent something in the car. The steering was a little bit to the left, so went into the first couple of corners not knowing how it was going to be, and the car felt good, so we just pushed on. But Eli's coming behind us, and he's been quick all morning, so we'll see what he can do.
Well, it was a nervous wait for Elfyn Evans, but the mark has been beaten.
If you take the power consideration into account, it's it's a good result to second the K. It's closer than we maybe expected. So no, that's good.
Eli Evans, Elfyn has been bumped from that top spot by Brendo. He's chucked in a charger. He's sub 3 minutes at 2:59.83. What are you going to do?
Look, I'm not surprised. It looks like the track's dried out and Brendan's pushing pretty hard. So we're just going to take the Honda Jazz G2 absolutely flat out through this stage and see if we can pip him.
So you're going to go for the 5 points?
Oh, you got to, don't you?
Good man.
The mark may have been beaten, but we should just underscore what a great effort that was from Elfyn Evans in the Ford Fiesta R2. Wheel spinning, this is on now. Eli Evans does not like the idea of Brendan Reeves coming back and trying to knock him off the top step. Evans is the man as far as two-wheel drive competition is concerned in Australia at the moment.
Then right 6 through bump.
There he is, knocking the sequential gearbox. All he needs to do is push it forward or pull it back to change the gear. It's quite easy.
Great stability in this.
Oh! That's the tree I was talking about.
I was going to say great stability in this squad at the moment. Glenn Weston remains alongside him in the co-driver's seat. They've done some work to these cars in the off-season. They may have lots of knowledge. Oh, look at him!
I tell you what,
wrestling with the car.
He's lucky to keep that nice and tidy because there's a lot of water being carried through that mud hole.
Just down, fractionally down, 8/10 Ross at the Kumo split.
I'm sure he'll pull it back.
Left 3, Care Titans 2, narrow long. Bump splash, left 4.
I tell you what, he has certainly matured as a driver. Eli has certainly shown over the last couple of years that he is the man to beat, and I'm sure that the time will tell at the end of this stage. He's looking good.
He gave us a little wry smile at the inaugural Rally Hall of Fame during the week. When I asked him, have you got a little more from this car in the off-season? He said, yeah, maybe a little. So,
and a little more courage as he goes through that right-hander. Coming up over the top and down into the coach sweeper. Our second timing marker coming up now.
He's regathered here, Ross. This looks nicer, but it's still shy of the mark. Look at that. close competition between Eli Evans and Brendan Reeves at the moment as the Pettis Power Stage continues. We're going to have to see if this can get sorted in the final sector.
Well, he's carrying plenty of speed through that corner. He is certainly not backing off.
This is the mark of the bloke because when he went a little wide and got nervous in that first sector near the trees and things like that, he's regathered here. This looks better. This looks more measured now.
He's a lot more tidy, as you said. There he goes, changes down. Handbrake, grabs the handbrake, flicks it around. Now the big uphill climb. You can see the steering wheel sort of working backs and forwards, trying to find some nice hard ground to get traction up over the right-hander.
Listen to that Mugen power.
Turn left 2, Slippy.
Loving the sound. In the new era for the sport, they sound terrific, don't they, when they're on big revs like that?
They are fantastic. And I think the limit is set at about 10,000. I reckon he's using 11 there at the moment.
Nearing the finish. Can he pull that back? Can he find some tenths and maybe get on top and win the power stage? What a start to the championship it would be. The defence of the two-wheel drive title. It's not to be.
Can't do it.
Reeves does it.
That was messy. 3 minutes 7.
Maybe messy at the beginning, the back end not too bad, but he gave it his all. Reeves and Rhiannon Smythe are the winners. They start 2013 the best possible way, but it's going to be on between these guys.
2 off-road excursions, just trying too hard. I think I got caught in the moment a little bit. It was bloody exciting, but Glenn thought we were off at one point, but we managed to get back on the road and continue on. So look, I'm pretty happy that we were that close because there was a few pretty big mistakes there that could have turned the other way. So well done to Brendan and Rhiannon in their Mazda. Good job. Good race already. Hold on.
Time for a little bit of analysis here, Ross. Let's take a look at a couple of key things here, some highlights.
70.
Oh, look at that. He said himself, he openly admitted it was a bit untidy. But he was hustling, wasn't he? He was chasing.
He was. In fact, when we drove through there, I went through there with Dean for a run through, just a slow run, and we both looked at that tree and we thought, oh, there's going to be a moment there. And
this is incredible here. It gets out of shape, but he catches it and still keeps the accelerator pedal mashed to the floor. Now, by contrast, Brendan Reeves, remember, he's been running in similar cars to this in recent years and is relishing being back home.
Yeah, we had plenty of practice. 4 runs gave us a great set of notes and we pushed hard in there. The stage was drying out all the time. We made some small changes to the car and it just took it perfect. So really excited. Great start to the weekend and it's going to be interesting now what we can do tomorrow. The Pettis Power Stage for us is a really exciting opportunity to get out there in front of the TV and show off our sponsors and show off the speed of our Mazda 2. It did a great job today.
So did Brendan. This is going to be terrific during the championship, isn't it?
It certainly is, Rusty, and 500 in the kick as well.
Plus 5 championship points. That takes us out for our coverage of the Pettis Power Stage. Keep an eye on your guides for the forest stages of the National Capital Rally, which you'll see right here.